Hello, my name's Ed Huck with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here to bring you your September 2021 real estate market update. So let's dive into this. I apologize, I've not done one of these in, I think, 2 months now, but I'm back on track. We actually just moved our office. So we took our own advice and actually purchased an office space instead of leasing. That feels phenomenal, by the way. But like most of our customers know, moving can be stressful. We just got all the boxes put away. We had a big grand opening party last Thursday. That was our big push. I always like to get myself motivated to get everything done. I always plan a party, so I know I've got a hard deadline. So we had a hard deadline of last week to have everything done. So it was all hands on deck, and thanks to everybody that helped us get this place up and finally starting to feel like home. So we're excited about that. And I wanted to, when I was talking with a lot of people at that party, everybody's asking, what is going on with the real estate market? I love this photo. Anyway, so what is going on? We're going to dive into this for everybody. One of the things we always look at is mortgage interest rates. That obviously drives the, it's one of the factors we look at to figure out what's going on. And interest rates have actually ticked up a little bit in the last 30 days or so. So the middle of September, they really bottomed out. Actually, they bottomed out in June and July. They ticked up a little bit, as you can see. They kind of went back down again in September. And since the middle of September, they've ticked back up. Again, we're not talking a lot. They're still hovering right around 3%, which is phenomenal. And obviously, that is not going to spur or scare any buyers off. Obviously, if the rates went up to 6, I think that might slow things down, which if you're as old as I am, 6% is not a bad interest rate. Unemployment is another thing we like to look at. For those of you that have your magnifying glasses out, you can read this. This is as large as I could get this. I apologize. What it says, though, is before COVID hit in March of 2020, in Ohio, our unemployment rate was right around 4%, actually low 4%. It obviously went way up during, the first, so March, April, May, June, July of 2020. Now the great news is for Ohio, we are trending back down. We actually were in the high 5s to high 4s to low 5% range. So what that means is our economy in Ohio is doing great. Obviously, there's some industries that are still affected by COVID, but overall, our unemployment rate is doing fantastic. One thing we've not really talked a lot about before on some of our other webinars or podcasts has been the fact that who's buying houses, right? And who's the available buyers to buy houses? So if you look at the population by generation, you can see here, apologize, I'm going to have to read some of these numbers because I don't have them memorized. But millennials make up a huge group of buyers, or available buyers. And matter of fact, they're second only to baby boomers. And there's two things that we look at when we look at this is first-time home buyers start buying houses usually in their mid-20s to early 30s. And you see all these millennials now coming of age, and they're now available, they're interested in purchasing homes. They also have good jobs, like we talked about, because our economy is doing fine. The other thing we've noticed is people are aging in place a lot longer than they ever used to do. Everybody's healthier than in decades past, and they're staying put longer. So having all these new buyers, all these millennial buyers jump into the buyer's pool over the last 5 or 6 years has been fantastic, but it's also put a strain on the number of available homes. New construction. Let's jump out of here just for a second, and you're going to have to put your magnifying glasses on again, but I'm going to try to blow this up a little bigger. New construction. We have talked about this before, but this does all correlate with why we have this housing shortage. When you look at this, and I like to look at the Midwest region, right? The national numbers over here on the left. This is the Midwest. if we look at that, and this is number of thousands. So if we look at this in, say, 01, we built 258,000 homes in the Midwest. Then it was 265, then 296, then 297, then 304. Then the bottom started to, we hit that curve. Some would argue that we were building too many homes in the mid 2000s, and that's probably rightfully so. And part of the reason, one of the many reasons that we had our housing crisis, most of that was linked to financial, but we did have a surplus of inventory before we went into that financial crisis and housing crisis. But what you see here is, just like many times, is that pendulum kind of overcorrects, and we stopped building houses. We went to 168, then 100,000, then 74,000, 77, 72, 91, 101. We finally hit bottom in about 2011 and started to rebound in 2012. And we've been coming up ever since. The interesting thing, and we landed at about 135,000 new homes in the Midwest last year. The thing is, that's nowhere near, say, the 200,000 or 300,000 homes that we need. And it's nowhere near, when I just showed you the slide of all the new millennials that are now buying houses, we don't have enough houses. It really comes down to a big part of our problem right now is nobody stopped having babies. These millennials are now in the buyer pool. The baby boomers aren't moving out of their big houses, and now there's nowhere for these folks to live. So when something does become available, they jump right on it. The same is true with rentals, that we've not built enough rental housing either. The other graphs we'd love to look at and show everybody is, let's dive into these real quick. Trend graphics. So the light green line is number of available homes to sell. Dark green is number of transfers. The blue is new listings. If you dive into this, you can see the number of available homes for sale over a rolling 12 months is down almost 8%. And last year was a phenomenal year, and we thought we didn't have enough listings to sell. And this year's been even tighter. New listings actually up a little bit in our rolling 12, and number of solds is actually up 7.3%. And I think that's what shocks folks, is they're like, how you guys, I get this question a lot, how you doing with no listings to sell? Well, the thing is, there are homes transferring. They're just selling so fast that you don't see them on the market. So it feels like there's not a lot of homes for sale, but there is. I mean, the transfers are actually going to be up. Same thing when you look at the first 9 months and 18 days of 2020 versus 2021. Number of homes available for sale is down 13%. New listings is only down about 0.6%, but the number of transfers is actually up 1.4%. So we're going to end up this year with more transfers than we did last year, which again was a phenomenal year. Days on market. Again, this I think is what really tells the story. If you look at our rolling 12 over here, our rolling 12 days on market used to be 52 days on average. It's down to 31 days. That's very little. List price to sales price ratio is actually 102%. So homes are selling for more than they're listed for. And then when we look at our rolling, the first, again, 9 months and 18 days worth of 20 versus 2021, you're looking at our average consecutive days on market is down to 28 days. And then it was 49 days last year. And then again, the sale price is up. You're getting about 2% over what you're asking for on your house. So again, it doesn't feel like there's homes available. We look at months worth of inventory, which is, if we have anything under 3 months worth of inventory, that tells us as a realtor, it's a buyer's market. It's a seller's market. We've been in a strong seller's market for years. And this basically just says this year versus last year, where it's even a little stronger market than it was last year. And if you look at the rolling 12, it's a lot stronger than it was from last year. So some key takeaways. The market's still very, very hot. As far as houses selling, they're selling very quickly. We have noticed, and the little asterisk to this still is, they're selling, and the houses that are selling in multiple offers, there's fewer multiple offers. So last year at this time, if we had a house for sale and it was beautiful, cream puff, looked like it fell out of a magazine, it would have maybe 13 or 14 or 15 offers on it and sell in a matter of days. Now it's maybe we only have 2 offers or 3 offers. So it's going to be, we're going to keep our eye on how is that affecting what's going on. Is that mean things are really starting to cool down? But when you look at the raw data, it says that things are still selling faster this year than they were last year. Again, there are homes to purchase. So if you're looking to buy a house out there, let us know. There are ways that we can, some tricks of the trade that we can make sure that your offer gets looked at and gets presented quickly. And a lot of our buyers are winning in multiple offer situations. So we can walk you through how we do that. If you're looking to sell, we have plenty of sellers and tools available that can make sure that you're not homeless. That's our biggest complaint right now is sellers will go, oh my gosh, I list my house, but there's nowhere to go. We can walk you through that. Let us know. And again, we can set up an appointment to walk through all the steps we have. Susie on our team loves to say that she's never had any of her buyers living in her car or being homeless. So, and that's a true statement. Interest rates have ticked up a little bit. Again, not enough to do anything as far as slowing the market down. Home values are up 10 to 12% over the last 12 months. And we still have a shortage of houses. So if you have very specific questions, again, these are kind of broader market stats. If you want to know what's going on in your neighborhood, please reach out to your favorite Ed Huck Team Realtor or give me a shout and we can get you all these stats for your specific house. Make it a great week and enjoy this beautiful fall.